Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the Final Scoop podcast. As always, I am joined by Lucas Rutkowski of Prometheus Sports Intelligence, Robert Samborski of the Apollon brand, Apollon Gym, Apollon Nutrition, and I'm your host, Sean, the Uber driver / host of the podcast. Today, we are honored and joined by one of the most, I'm going to say respected reviewers out there. He is a father. He is a husband to 3 boys. God bless your wife. And when you look him up in a dictionary, he is generally one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. As everybody, allow me to introduce Dave Cook. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. And I don't know if you just heard that, but collectively, everybody just went, who? No, thank you so much for the kind words. And I want to tell all 3 of you guys, I appreciate this. This means the world to me. I am blown away, honored. Really, this is just, I'm so humbled that you guys asked me to be on here today. This is a real treat and a real honor for me. So thank you so much, because I've caught every episode of this since you guys have done it. I don't always catch them live, but I've caught all the replays, and this is like, my favorite podcast. And this is just a dream come true to be asked to be on here today. So thank you guys so much.
So I have to be honest, when I started Sup Talk 11 years ago, I think Lucas was my first follower, and I think Dave was the second. So I appreciate them both for being around with me for this long and still being with me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Dave, you've been doing this for a while now, and I know you've kind of been, I'm going to be respectful, you've kind of been a lurker for quite a while. I know you use supplements for years, but I feel like over the last 2 years, you've kind of come out of your skin. And now you're in front of the camera. Like, what was the genesis? What made you decide to come out?
Yeah, so that's completely agree with you there. So lurker is a great way to put it. I've been, I guess you can consider me like, your super consumer, where I'm just, I'm always watching what other people are doing, trying to learn things on my own. Like I'm a heavy purchaser of, a bunch of different, supplements and things like that I use, for my personal self. And, it kind of came to a point where, I was working with Glaxon for a little bit there as an ambassador, which is something that, I've never done before. And, I love the company there, but I just felt like after a while, I'm like, I use much more than just them. And I felt like maybe I could just bring something to the table here and just share more of like, my personal experiences, what works for me. Because like you said, I'm a data 3. I'm a normal guy. But if I can be relatable to other people, is to, tell them, what works for me, why it works for me, and just be open and honest. I just felt like maybe that's what I needed to do. And that's just kind of like, it kind of was like this little itch, that I needed to scratch. And, here we are. So I have opened up a little bit more lately and feeling more comfortable in front of the camera. And God knows there's a long way to go, because I'm just recording these things in my laundry room with a tripod. So there's nothing special about this whatsoever, but it's just, it's all from the heart, and it's all just me being honest. And that's the only way I know how to be.
I told you got to trademark What's Cooking.
I'm thinking about it.
At least you are using tripod in a good way. You are not filming yourself in the gym sessions.
No.
You are using
well, you know what? If it is, it's me in my basement. And believe me, there's nothing special going on down there. So.
Hey, by the way, did you won on a lottery or something? Because like every week I can see like a new review on another supplement, another SKU.
So my wife is ready to kill me. She's asking me, what are you going to do with all this stuff? And, there's a grand scheme plan to it. I promise I will use it, sweetie.
Yeah,
but she doesn't get it.
everything is being held for the children, right?
Basically, yeah.
So, but wait, do you keep the empty tubs, or do you get rid of the tubs?
No, I get rid of the tubs. So everything that I'm reviewing right now is, all stuff that I've purchased. I mean, like 95% of it is all stuff that, is just my collection of stuff. And, just stuff that I want to share with everybody. And so hopefully, I mean, most of these reviews are going to be positive, but because it's all stuff that, I've spent my money on, and I don't think I'm, excuse my language, going to buy shit. So, I want to buy something that I think that people would enjoy and really get, some good use out of, or something like that. So,
hey, speaking of shit, did you shit on some brands in the past months?
Never. Why? Like who?
Never. I'm just asking,
No,
maybe Apollon. Maybe Apollon did some shit.
That would be a smart move, right?
I guess I've been listening right now, and obviously I watch your reviews, and I think they're very good. But I mean, I always
But
have to, I always have to add something to it. This is a compliment. This is 100% a compliment, because you come off as this, all American husband, dad, like really a good guy, which is very rare. Because if you look at different review channels and you look at different brand owners and everybody that comes in the space, and I'm actually being that serious right now. Everybody is nice, but they fake nice for most part. I'm not going to say everyone, but for most part, they fake nice. They say things that the audience want to hear, or the consumer, if they're selling something, want to hear. And, all of us are sitting there, and because we are experienced within the industry, we know they're lying. We know they're lying, whether it's the product that is shit, or they are scumbags who've been to either jail or done some shitty stuff. I mean, we know they lying because, again, we are from within the industry. When it comes to you, it's the exact opposite. You're like one of those guys that everybody likes because you're so nice. You come off nice. And I think that that's great. I really do. Because it feels like you bring something fresh to the space. A guy who is obviously has a job, not a bum, not an athlete who wants to belong to any brand. Just please take me, give me a free tub of protein, and I'll do whatever you say. You obviously don't portray that. You portray a guy who has a job, who has responsibilities, who has children, who has a wife, who has a family, and you come off as genuinely somebody who cares about the industry and likes the industry. And that's where I'm heading right now, where I see as a problem.
Mhm.
I think Lucas asked you if you ever shit on any brand, and I thought it was a very good question. I think you should, and I'll explain why. I think if it comes from us, it's almost expected.
Mhm.
If it comes from you, it's unexpected. So obviously there are people in the industry that don't like us. There are people in the industry that we openly don't like. So sometimes it comes off a little bit biased, and we might even hate on somebody for sometimes not. I'm not saying no reason, but sometimes we push it a little bit too far with the props and with the attacks. But when it comes from you, if it comes from you, I think it's going to be genuine. You don't have to be a dick like I am and just curse somebody out and be, disrespectful or whatnot. You can do it in your own way. But if you say, like, listen, on a label it says so and so, this is not me as a consumer because I know how to read the labels. This is not what I want. This is too much in terms of calories, or this is too much in terms of sugar, or this is too much in terms of caffeine. Coming from me, that's rich. Uh, or it's too little caffeine, or this doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or these ingredients don't belong. I think if it comes from you, it's gonna be more credible than when it comes from me, or from Lucas, or even from Sean, because I think it comes from somebody who is real and somebody who is clearly not paid and clearly who has no interest to badmouth somebody or to give them props. And some of the, I'm not criticizing you, by the way, right now.
No.
I'm just stating how I feel. And if I'm out of line, please put me in my place anytime you feel. I know I'm being serious right now. I saw a few reviews that you did, and they were very, very nice. But some of the products that you said, like a nice, say, for example, they taste good. But then I looked at the supplement facts. I'm like, I know this may taste good, but it's not exactly perfect. So that's what I would say. And I'm not saying you should be saying it, but what I'm saying is if you did say it, it would be more credible because obviously I own a palm, I own a brand. So coming from you, it's expected, of course, palm is the best, everybody else is shit, which is not the case. People that know me know that I'm not like that. But I think that if you continue in your trend doing the reviews that you do, but criticize in your own nice way, I think you can take the reviews in your channel pretty far. I'm pretty sure you can, because I think that somebody who is an average consumer will believe you before he believes Lucas. and that's good. That's very, very good because it's credible. Your information in your reviews are very, very credible. But in terms of how you're doing the reviews and how you really not just saying it, but typing it out, actually taking time, because people are so fucking lazy to read. I really admire that because you're breaking down everything point by point, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So I think that you should be doing and you should continue. And I think it's different. And I'm a huge, huge fan of everything that is different.
Well, first of all, I've got a couple of points to say to that. First of all, thank you so much for saying that. I am what I like to consider a genuine person. I'm not trying to, in my life, I'm not looking to make enemies. However, to your point, if I do come across something that is a bullshit ingredient or a bullshit product, I can see myself starting to get that momentum enough where, now we're going to be real here. And it's not that I haven't been real to these other ones, but the products that I've been reviewing, like I said, stuff that I've purchased.
That you buy, yeah.
So most of it, there's been a couple of things that people have sent, which is great. I'm truly humbled and grateful for that. Most of it's stuff that I've purchased. I'm hoping that, by conveying that, at least with these first couple here, that, you're going to see what I take, what I like. But I've got people just like you that have been asking me to take, to really dig into some of these people and if there's some shit products out there, lay into them, call them out for what they are. So we might be evolving into that. And,
good.
And I'm not afraid to do that.
And I do understand that you're purchasing products. Obviously, you don't want to purchase a product that you're not going to use.
Sure.
So, And I've seen you were reviewing products like Core, and I mean, those are pretty reputable companies and they're pretty good. So I understand that it's very, very difficult because why would you purchase shit products? So I do understand.
Sure. Well, I'm ready to let the claws out. I had some people DM me before this and say, listen, if you're going to be ripping somebody, we're chomping at the bit for you to do this because we know that you've got this in you. So we might see that side come out of me here pretty soon, which is good. So yeah, I agree. And you know what? This is all just new. Like you said, this is just a passion project for me. I have a full-time job. I've got 3 kids. I don't have I'm not in the industry like you guys are. So this is just from an outsider perspective. And, that's where I'm a little bit different. You take guys like David Fredrickson, so intelligent and can really convey the science. Maybe I know the science in my head, but I can't convey it like him. I'm never going to try to be like him.
You don't have to. You can be yourself, and I think that's great. Like, for example, I think Dave just recently reviewed one of our products. I believe it was, I don't remember what it was.
The health lines.
The health line, he did mind games, for example.
Yes,
And there is one thing about mind games that I personally hate, like I actually despise. And I didn't tell him that. Actually, I didn't tell nobody. But he called me out on that, and I loved it. He said that why the fuck is it 3 capsules? Why it's an odd number and not an even number where you can do 2 and 2? 3 is just not smart. It's not good. It doesn't look good because it's an odd, it's an odd number. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I already talked to my manufacturer. Once we're gonna either reformulate or redo, it has to be 4 capsules because obviously we cannot fit into 2 because it would make sense to split them. So in a way, it is criticism, but it's a good criticism. And if a brand cannot take the criticism, well, then, because we making products, first of all, for people, for customers. And we have to do that. Yes, there are shady brands who are putting out crappy products. And I mean like really, really crappy products intentionally. Yeah, those brands should be ripped to shreds. Why? Because we're only doing people good when we're doing it. Yeah. But there are some good brands who have few missteps here and there. It does happen. And I think that's, the 3 capsules serving, I think is kind of dumb. And I've done it. And he called me out on that. I mean, it's not pleasant to hear criticism ever, but it was spot on. And, you have to appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I think something like that is coming from a place of love, obviously.
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? It's like, so with good intentions and things like that. And I think that, like you said, good and bad needs to be called out in this industry because, nobody is perfect. People can be batting, 99%, but, there's always a little missteps here. So I think, like you said, the good and the bad needs to be called out in this industry so that people know the difference.
But Dave, you're like Dave Fredrickson. He's actually watching now. He just chimed in here that he can negatively talk about a product, a brand, an ingredient, but the way he says it, it's so diplomatic and humble. And I think, Dave, you can bring that the same way. It's like Bobak said, you're not really trashing. It's more of just being nice, but indirectly trashing it.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's kind of just how my tact has always been. Just a friendly, personable person where I'm not trying to upset anybody, but you know what? If the truth needs to be told, the truth needs to be told sometimes. So, and as I evolve more into doing this, because this is still just fresh for me still, I'll get more of a sense of how deep I really want to dig into some of this stuff, but, and unleash my claws on somebody maybe, but, we'll see. But points well taken, Robic. And I appreciate that because, again, it's just a passion project. It's something I'm like doing, but everybody can get better. I want to continue to evolve with this. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And, hell, look where I'm at today. I have an opportunity to talk with, 3 people that I consider friends for a while here. This is wonderful.
So Dave, we actually had a question for you because lately you kind of on a protein tear with your reviews.
Right.
And somebody said, thoughts on some proteins not being full disclosure. Does it affect your mindset or review?
If I don't see that on the label right away, red flags kind of go up to me. And I've had a couple, I'll take an example here. I reviewed a couple of proteins from Inaka Subs. Okay. Not a brand that I would typically, go for. They don't have a huge catalog of stuff. They're more for clothing, whatever. Nothing, it's way concentrate on there. I see nothing of WPC 80, which is like the minimum threshold bar for me. If I don't see stuff like that and I don't see full disclosure, that gets me. Because I think that, if you are bringing a quality product to market, I would want to be screaming from the mountaintops. This is what we have in here. This is why this is good. And let me show you what we have. And, there's plenty of examples. Pollen does this, where you do the yield of how much protein comes out. Little things like that, I think, make a huge difference. I don't know that many other consumers are as critical or care as much, but for someone like me, yeah, that does. I do want to see full disclosure on everything, and this goes back to your talk last week, guys, with your prop blends and stuff like that. There's a time and place for some of these things. And, for the most part, I'm not into the prop blends, but I will say one example of one time that I thought it was really good. This was really smart. This was back in the Chris Waldrum era days of when he was with Inspired, and he had the Devastate White Cut and the Devastate Crimson. And I know, Lucas, I know you're familiar with these products. Full disclosure on the top of citrulline and all the other things in there. But when he had his stim matrix, that's where he put his secret sauce. And that's why those products kicked ass. And, he had his little recipe there. And boy, those were 2 of my favorite products of all time.
Yeah, Jake did that with his El Jefe for his first
Yes,
edition.
yeah.
He had all of the citrulline, the taurine, but then his stim blend was the same thing. It was a prop blend.
It's good to hear that kind of feedback, especially from you, because you are like I would say mindful consumer, so you know what you are buying.
Sure.
And you know what you are investing your money into. So every time when you're picking up something from our shelf, you always like checking, the top, and know your ingredients, what you're looking for, and so on. So that's good, to see that kind of knowledge, especially from you. But yeah, it's my thing is that, getting back to what we were talking about, being yourself and so on, and making the reviews and everything, if that's what you like to do, and if that's what what brings you enjoyment to your life, do it. But at the same time, don't give a shit about, what other people think, and basically, don't hold back. Whenever you see something, shady, just call it out.
Sure.
Because whenever you will say the truth, people will respect you and will, appreciate what you are saying.
Absolutely.
That's my advice.
Absolutely, yeah.
But in all fairness, though, Dave, your mindset is not the only one. Lucas Kalin, who, Robic, Lucas, he's the same way because I've talked to him. He said it on my podcast and off air that he doesn't want to trash anybody. He'd rather just not. So it's kind of that's that fine line. But you're not alone by your mindset.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that I won't trash anybody. We just haven't done it yet. We'll leave it at that.
See, the thing is that and I like Lucas. I think his reviews are phenomenal. He has his own kind of a thing, the way he does things. But I'm actually going to lean more towards what Dave said. I totally understand, because he explained it very, very well, that he didn't trash anyone, or let's use the word criticize. He didn't criticize anyone because the products that he purchases are products that he wants to use. And because he knows what he wants to use, obviously he's looking out for the best possible products. And if he gets the best possible products, then it's very, very hard to trash something that he already knows is pretty much, it's good. I did catch that Inaka actually review that you did. I did see it. And despite my reputation for aggressiveness and attacking, that's not the case. I always said I'm not unless I'm provoked. So that's the reason why I will criticize that brand, but I will not accuse them because I just don't have the facts. And without facts, I'm not going to do that. So to me, you made a very good point about the concentrate, and it doesn't state that it's 80%. Now, to me also, it's a red flag. And I am fully with you. I have nothing against concentrate, nothing, as long as it's WPC 80. If it's not WPC 80, to me, it's automatically trash. That's just the way I feel. Yeah. And I know some people don't like when I say it because we've seen some of the so-called reputable brands using concentrate, and I automatically say it's trash. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but that's just the way it is. Now, it doesn't say on that protein that it's WPC 80. But I remember you said that you reached out to them, I believe, and they said that indeed it is.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, here's an issue. The issue is that if I am making a concentrate, and I'm not ruling out that I will make a concentrate protein as a blend of, something, it's not even 99%. It's 120% that it's going to be WPC 80. There are no arguments about it, and there are no other possibilities. Considering that it's going to be such an important factor about the product, WPC 80 priority will be for it to be on a label.
Yeah.
It will be priority. It has to be there. If I overlook that, which is unlikely, because that's such an important component of the label. But say, for example, shit happens, you can overlook it. For example, we've done it with egg protein before. We overlooked that it was kosher, but we didn't put a kosher sign on it, the symbol, which is kind of stupid because it's an important thing. So even if you overlook it, then you do provide some kind of a proof that indeed it is WPC 80. And that's what I would expect them to do. So it's strange that it's not on the label. It's extremely strange and highly suspicious. But because I don't know and because I don't have facts, I would assume that let's give them benefit of a doubt that indeed it is WPC 80. Would be nice if they posted, say, for example, on their social media or somewhere, just a simple certificate or something from the manufacturer, right, that protein that they use is indeed WPC 80, because I remember we did that. We made a mistake. Going back to Hooligan, I want to say 3 or 4, so it was years ago, where instead of betaine anhydrous, on a label, it said betaine HCl. Not a big deal, but there is a difference.
Yeah.
And I missed it. It's still kind of a beginner. I missed it. Robert Chinetsky noticed it and he goes to me like, what the fuck? We reached out to the manufacturer. We got, obviously certificate of analysis, and we provided it, like simple as that, like, guys, we fucked up on a label. It happens, and just recently, I believe, Dave, you reached out to me. There is a mistake on, or maybe even Sean, one of you. Somebody reached out to me. There is a mistake on Lionheart.
Yeah, that was me reaching out to you. Yeah.
Yeah, with
very tiny.
Something like that. It's a tiny mistake, but it's a mistake nevertheless. And obviously we noticed it. And I remember when it was released, I posted a few times in stories and stuff like that. And obviously reached out, listen, it's a mistake on the label, just extra zero that doesn't belong. But you have to address those because mistakes on the labels do happen. Something that was supposed to be there is not there. I mean, those things happen. And as long as you can address it, that's fine. But you were right to call it out because we concentrate is, if it's WPC 80 and not, That's a major difference.
Huge difference. Huge, yeah.
Robert, being a brand owner, okay, why aren't more companies making their protein transparent? Is it just more in manufacturing? Is it more to figure it out? Or what do you think is the reason behind it?
You really want me to answer?
No, I want you to lie.
Because they're cheap.
Okay.
Because they're cheap. Simple as that. You know, I mean, when you take whey protein isolate, or you take casein, or egg, especially egg, that shit is expensive. That shit is very, very, very expensive. Especially Lucas will know the prices of protein right now are just through the roof. Especially if it's a quality protein, the prices are nuts. So when you have 24 actual grams of protein isolate, whey isolate, that's not 24 grams. That's what other people would put as 26. Actually, more than 26. So you have to actually have over 26 grams of protein to just yield 24. But there are people who are putting and bragging about it. I have 25 grams of protein in my isolate. I have 25 grams of protein in my isolate. No, motherfucker, you don't. You have 23. Actually, less than 23. The actual protein content, because when you are calculating your macros, you're actually calculating all the protein that goes into your body. If you're like very, very strict and very, very serious. So if you're going to have 2 or 3 shakes a day, and some people do, and you do 2 or 3 scoops, then your macros are off by 10 to 15 to 20 grams of protein per day. That's a huge difference, especially for somebody who is extremely serious or somebody who is competing. You know, because that's actually automatically we're getting close to 100 calories. That's a difference, and some people are very strict. So if they don't know that there is a difference between the yield amount and not yield amount, then yeah. So, you know, somebody recently asked me, well, you have 26 or 28, I think 28 servings in our isolate. You have 28 servings of isolate, not 30. Why don't you have 30? Okay. And what if do you realize that I would have to probably charge you more? 28 is a lot. It's a lot, but the bottom line is 24 grams of protein is also a lot, because it's an actual. So when you're looking 24 grams of a pound or NitroBio protein, you're actually getting 24 grams of protein. You don't have to second guess or do math in your head. And if it's concentrate, and especially if it's not WPC 80, then 25 grams of protein makes you lucky there is 15. You're very lucky if you have 15. So it boils down to only one thing. They can get away with it because it's absolutely legal. You're not breaking the law, but you are cheating the consumer. So at the end of the day, it's all about money. So you have some, they put on the label huge letters, whey. But it's not whey isolate, it's whey concentrate. And it's not WPC 80, it's a shit concentrate. And now they're charging you, they say only $40. Well, they're $40. We are $50. But you're getting double the amount of protein in our container versus their container. But it's very, very easy to deceive an average consumer. And here comes Dave. Dave and his reviews, and people will believe him. An average consumer will believe him before he believes me. So that's why I think that it's very, very important for something like that to have in the industry where an average consumer has who is knowledgeable, who understands the yield, who understands the concentrate, who actually did his time researching the products and the ingredients, and it comes to them and says, well, listen, I'm not really affiliated with Glaxon. I'm not really affiliated with Primeval Labs or, NutraBio or Apollon. I like certain brands. I know certain brands, but I'm not directly involved or getting paid by them. And I'm telling you that this product is shit. This product, however, is good. And this is why this product is shit. And this is why this product is good. And guess what? He does a lot of good service for a lot of good people and actually gets to save them money.
So all this talk of protein, somebody actually asked it a question. What are you guys' thoughts on all this clear protein popping up again? I'm seeing more and more brands playing in the clear protein. I'm not as educated on the clear protein side. All I know is it foams like hell, and I know I don't like it, but I'll defer to you guys.
I mean, it's isolate. Yeah, it's isolate. It's good protein. It's good source. I think it comes down. I don't know if you'll agree with me, Dave, but it comes down to, I think, preference. I don't like the way it foams either. But I tried recently. I think company's called Seek. I tried it. Fucking tasted phenomenal. I mean, it tasted really good. But when I blended it, I had to fucking sit for about 10 or 15 minutes for the foam to come down.
I listened to a podcast. I only caught the beginning of it, but it was with TK and Joey from Glaxon. And they talked about trends for 2024. And they clearly thought that clear whey proteins are going to be a huge thing this year. And like you're saying, Sean, that kind of seems to be the trend. I mean, Core has done it lately, and it's a different spin on it. But, like you said, Robic, it's a whey isolate. So I have no issues with it. But in the past, it's never been something that I've sought out. We'll see.
I mean, Isopure, I believe, had it for years.
Yeah.
Isopure, nobody
that I know of.
Yeah, nobody talked about it. But I remember before I even owned Apollo Nutrition, the previous owner of Apollo Gym, he stocked it up in his fridge all the time. Those fucking huge glass bottles that they were breaking when they were shipping them. It tasted pretty good. I mean, it was very popular actually at the gym. People were buying it nonstop. But I think it's preference.
Yeah.
I've been in this industry for many, many years, and I can tell you one thing: this is just a trend, and it will pass, and it will pass super quick. Just like fucking CBD was a fucking boom, and this shit never touched even Europe. There are some things I can see that few brands are touching the clear protein here in Europe, but this shit is not selling at all, so it's just a matter of time.
And it's expensive.
Yeah, and it's fucking expensive. The technology is expensive, and I do think that, like many brands, I'd rather go with the, WPC 80 route than, investing in clear protein or something like that. Or they're more into, collagen or aminos, those kind of things. But as far as like clear protein, sorry, I don't see it going, And I also think it's like quick money grab for many brands because they see, oh, this is trending, so we need to jump on it, And I like what Apollon is doing because Robic is going by his own his own route. If he sees something that works for him, he's doing that. So that's why I always appreciated his brand, as far as this. But clear protein, not my cup of tea.
But do you know, is it just the process? Are they stripping like more stuff away from it? Because I know it seems a little bit even lighter than true isolate, even though it is an isolate, if that makes sense.
It's more like I don't know if you're familiar with hydrolyzate procedure.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's basically it. But the process is from what I've heard is a bit different. But the particles of the protein are also very how can I say, they're easier to digest, so that's why I think that's why it foams, and it's why there's an issue as far as like with the consistency and so on. But
I also see the companies that are doing it throughout the years, they're more like fruity flavors. I don't know if it's the way the flavoring adheres molecule-wise or whatever, because I very rarely see like chocolate and vanilla. I see like more like fruit punch and berries, but maybe it's just my observation.
Yeah.
So, another question that came in. So what's everybody's thoughts on the supplement awards in general? Companies that give out supplement awards, the Price Plows, the Fitness Informants, the Stacks. Anybody want to open up that can of worms?
Hey, before the podcast, I wrote a question for Dave.
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh,
Stacked, Price Plow, Fitness Informant. Go. I put you on the spot.
Good one.
Wow.
I would have to say, okay, if I'm going to marry someone, it's going to be Stacked because I want to be in the long haul with this person I like what Shane's doing. I like where he's been. I like where he's going. I think he's a long-term someone I could see myself with.
Okay.
So now we're left to fucking kill.
Yeah.
Dave, I hope your wife doesn't have this on in the car with the kids.
No, I hope not either. Boy.
Hey, don't bring wife.
Boy, that's a tough one there. Here's where I'll stand on this, and I'll keep processing who I want to pick here.
Go.
I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to these companies. I understand that they rub people the wrong way based on business models. I get that. They've never done anything to me. I watch their content knowing full well how they operate. I know going into it that it's more of like a pay-to-play system with these guys. And I get that. Robic, you've said this before. People got to make money. I understand. So I don't have a problem with them. There are fundamentally, if it puts blinders on people to only see 6 brands or 7 brands total when there are, 50 to 1,000 or whatever worth your consideration, that can be a little bit tricky. So I guess with that said,
just kill them both.
Can we? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Do a shotgun.
I'm gonna go fuck. I'm gonna fuck Price Plow. They set up something for me really cool several years ago, and I'll have to kill Ryan. I'm sorry. He's just, I don't know. There's no win here. I don't know.
Wait. Okay, I remember that. I'm sorry, Robert, not to cut you off, because you sent them an idea for something like a Glaxon product or something. Is that what the impetus was?
Yes. Yeah. So Joey came up with this product that he and I kind of came up with together, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And it was just a add-on product that we just, I let his brain run run this software to create something, and it was just super cool experience. And it was just like a one bottle that he made for me, of like a wish list of whatever you wanted. It was so cool. So yeah.
So Dave, so put you on the spot here. We're going to keep the fire going underneath you here.
Yeah.
If you were to do your own awards, okay, how would you do it? Would you do it your own personal? Would you do a voting system? Would you take peers, other supplement owners, and kind of do a vote? Like, what would you do if you could create the ideal one?
If it came from just me, I don't think people would care enough to just be like, okay, that's just one guy's opinion. Who gives a shit? I would probably want to get more of like, your consumers' thoughts and their thoughts on the matter too, because I think that matters. I converse with people through DMs and, side chats and things about when they do come up with these awards and what products did you like this year and what didn't you like and things like that. So I value people's feedback on this stuff because, it's a big industry and there's a lot of consumers.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that just myself means anything to anybody. They'd be like, who's this guy? You know what I mean?
Let's say you were a player, though. Let's say you were a player. You're well known. You were at the level of Shane or somebody. How would you run it?
Well, I like tough one, because the vote. The voting thing can be skewed as well too. So it's it becomes a popularity contest, and a brand throws out a feeler to all their ambassadors and tell all your customers that we're down 100 votes. We need to get whatever, and then all of a sudden they go up by 6,000 votes.
I like Dave. I like Dave a lot.
Something sneaky on that. It's a tough one to go with. And so I guess at the end of the day, you just got to go down with what works for you, which is probably why Shane is the most respected when it comes to these awards, because he's not getting paid. It's just him and Nikki making their choice. And whether you disagree with Ava. And Ava, right? Can't forget about her. Yeah. So, whether you agree or disagree, that's his thing, but he's built up a platform and a reputation to where he's earned, I think people's respect, within the industry. So I guess at the end of the day, it's probably maybe makes sense more to do it on your own if you were a well-established person and you've built up the credibility. But, I think there could be a lot of manipulation otherwise. And is it really a fair fight? I don't know.
Fair enough. We'll turn down the heat now a little bit for you.
Oh, that's fine. Bring it on.
Somebody else had asked what's brands you would like to try you haven't tried yet. What's on your radar?
So I've dabbled with some of these, but like a brand like Astroflave, I really like what they've been doing this past year. I like Lyca Pro supplements. Trying to think of who else there would be. Morphogen Nutrition. I don't use a whole lot of their stuff, but I have a lot of respect for what they do. Probably those three brands continue to remain at the top of my radar list, I guess.
Okay.
I like what they're doing.
Hey, can I ask you about one brand in particular?
Yeah.
What do you think about Hostile?
I've never used them. Never used them.
Okay. But did you look up on their formulas and so on?
I've come across their stuff before. I probably couldn't pull it off the top of my head. I think they recently came out with one of these. What do they even call these new pre-workouts here that are the bare bones? Whatever. I don't even know. I don't know what you categorize.
Daily driver.
Sure. But I remember them doing that, and I know that they have some kind of new influencer that's supposedly longer-haired kind of guy, whatever. That's pretty popular. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually listening to Dave, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. Actually, more so than before the podcast. And I'm being very, very genuine right now. Actually, I think that my level of respect for Dave grew quite substantially. And just to comment on that, I mean, I think that I like a pro for the fact that he does kind of things differently from a Palm, but he does it his own way. I think he's a little bit heavy on proteins right now because that seems to be his main focus. I do have certain issues with transparency there, and I'm pretty sure you realize why I'm saying it. In terms of pre-workouts, fat burners, and stuff like that, I have certain that I actually like and certain ones that I like less. But overall, it's a good brand, and he's doing a good job. I do have slight preference for Morphogen because I think that Ben is really, really more of a nerd scientist, so to speak. I think that Jeff is a little bit too bodybuilding heavy and influenced, while Ben is a little bit more science and experience influenced. So I'll give an edge to Ben when it comes to it. Astroflev, I will agree with you to a certain extent, and here's why. I think that they're pretty good when it comes to their proteins as well. Kind of could probably compete with like a pro when it comes to launching proteins, and they probably even a little bit more popular than like a pro when it comes to proteins instead of in terms of wholesale, because I see them in more stores and stuff like that. When it comes to the other stuff like pre-workouts and fat burners and stuff, I am not impressed, and I'll explain why. I'm not impressed because very often they make a statement, and I hate when people do that they are premium. And if you really look into the formulas, you will realize that they're decent to good, but they're not premium. They're not on the same level as, for example, and I'm taking a pound right now out of the equation. I'm talking maybe about more like NutraBio or Morphogen, where things are dosed better. I noticed that some of formulations that they have are a little bit, okay, let's throw this ingredient in here, but it's not going to be fully dosed in terms of premium dose, where it's supposed to be. So with Astroflev, I'm on a fence. I'm not 100% convinced as in terms of premium. So I'm gonna go definitely with Morphogen, followed closely by like a pro, because I especially like the creativity that Jeff does with the flavors. He's definitely very, very good when it comes to creating a bit of he's willing to take a risk, and I like that. I like that he's a little bit more daring when it comes to the flavors. Now, since we touched upon awards, you said something that really triggered me right now about the voting system. It sucks. And the protein wars, for example, that Stack does, and the first year or two that I saw Paul's name in it, I was super excited. But I was cheating, just like everybody else. I was asking everybody, can you please vote? Can you please vote? Can you please vote? But it's wrong. It's wrong, and it's fake. and it's biased and it's not true. For example, let's take Academy Awards, right? Oscars. You have 5,000, I believe, members at the Academy. People that are members that get to vote. Each member received all the nominated movies, and he gets to watch them and to make a decision, personal decision, which movie is actually better. So he gets to watch all the 5 or 10 nominated movies, and he gets to watch. How can you vote for, you use the palm, you like a palm? You do. I assume you do. So why you're going to vote for a palm, but you haven't even tried another one that it's also on the list. So you're biased. You're cheating. Essentially, you're cheating. You're voting for me because we are friends, because you like my protein, but maybe the other brand's protein is actually better. Now, we're not taking into account, is it actually a good protein? Or is it some concentrate that is garbage that doesn't even have what it's supposed to have, that it's something that a person could benefit? So we're rewarding just because Rise or Jim Stepani or Muscle Tech have millions of customers and can easily, all the customers can vote and they're going to win. Does that automatically mean that they have the best protein on the market? Because that in itself is advertising and it's cheating. So Stacked is rewarding, in essence, a company because somebody's going to see it. Oh my God, they won the protein. No, they didn't win. They cheated, and it's not a fair competition, and it's not a true winner. They won by default. It's fake. That's what it is. It's just fake. More than anything. If you look at movies between Golden Globes and I don't know what else, Oscars and Critics' Choice Awards, you have 3. Guess what? The nominations are going to be pretty much the same because it's voted by true experts. The nominations are going to be the same. But over here in the supplement industry, a palm can win, Rice can win, then Dark Labs can win too. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The whole system is a fraud. I mean, it's nice when you're getting, if you're going to say, Rob, you know what? I'm going to give you an award as a best brand of the year. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate, your confidence, and I appreciate that you recognize what we've done. Thank you. But it's an award because not I'm the best brand. I'm a best brand to you. Simply to you. And you know what? With everything that happened with this award season this year, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. You had 2 years ago, and I'm going to just say it as it is. You had Palm winning, Glaxon winning, and Obvi winning. It's fucking pathetic. It's fucking ridiculous and pathetic. It's a fraud. And while I do believe that Stacked is the best platform in supplement industry, I wholeheartedly believe why? Because you're actually getting information about the whole of industry. And Shane is doing a phenomenal job in it. Absolutely phenomenal job. Because on a daily basis, you get to know what brands are coming out and what they're doing and what products they're releasing. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It doesn't get better than that. While Price Flower and Fitness Informant obviously getting paid for their content and they're doing their own way. But at the end of the day, all 3 platforms are making a living. Shane lives off Stacked and lives quite nicely because he gets to travel the world. So he's making a very good living of the supplement industry. Price Plow is making lots of money because even I remember when Ben was answering to Lucas, he said, oh, we have 20 partners. That's called 20 customers. And if each and every customer is paying, I don't know, let's just throw a number, $5,000 per month or $3,000 per month, multiply that by 20. That's a lot of fucking money for 2 guys running the platform. That's a lot of fucking money. There are thousands of brands. If 20 brands, like he said, and I assume it's true, are partners, that's a lot of fucking money. And Fitness Informant the same way. And that's okay. Again, I stand by what I said before. Everybody has to make a living. But in terms of awards and stuff like that, you know what? I know that if we ever get any award again, any award, thank you. I appreciate it. As long as we don't actually financially pay for it. Because that can be done in this industry as well. But other than that, what are we rewarding? Like, for example, if I was making an award, what would I reward? Yes, consistency throughout the year, 100%. You have to consistently work. That's how you get reward at work too. That's how you're getting a bonus at the end of the year, whatever you do, because you are consistently working hard for your company. Why else would you get rewarded in the supplement industry? Because you're actually making good products. You have to make good products that actually help people, not just, oh, okay, let me release this product. Oh, okay, it's cool. It has a very nice label. So what are we rewarding? Because if we're rewarding a movie, we're rewarding not how much the movie makes. We're actually rewarding the script, the story. We're rewarding the acting, directing. Everything comes together. The movie has to come like it's actually best nominated, and there is a voting process. Over here, we can easily reward a fucking brand. Look back on the last 10 years of all the awards. How many times have brands won that are literally trash? Trash brands that you would not recommend to a friend and you would not make anyone purchase. But they won because they either paid or for any other reasons. And protein wars and the best tasting protein, we're saying that protein is subjective when it comes to taste, because it is. There is no such thing. It just doesn't exist. So just say, you know what, in my opinion, this is the best brand. In my opinion, this is the best tasting protein. In my opinion, this is the best pre-workout on the market. But you have these fucking influencers that work for companies and getting paid or getting free containers of products, all of a sudden going and voting. Oh yeah, this is the best protein. My favorite is actually rice all day. Based on what? Based on Skippy collaboration? I don't see anything else. I mean, I tried, for example, rice protein. They just won. It's pretty good. And I'm taking Apollo completely out of the equation right now. But you know what? Like, for example, and they were not even in a conversation. But have you tried Evogen protein?
No.
It's actually pretty good. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how good Evogen flavors are. Very, very good. But you know what? Hani Rambot, who won multiple Mr. Olympia contests with his athletes, somebody who has a multi-million-dollar company, sells great in Middle East, and somebody who's making a killing, you know why? He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit that Rice is going to win over him, and he's not even going to be in contention. Even though, again, personal opinion, his protein tastes better. Jim Stepani's protein tastes really, really, really impressive. In my opinion, better than Ghost, at least from what I remember, what I tried. So it's very, very subjective. So at the end of the day, that's why I think, you know what, going back circling to what you do with reviews, you might not help a lot of people, but you'll be surprised how many people you can help. And that's the reason why I'm a fan. I watch your reviews. It doesn't matter how many views you get, but I like it. You know why? Because first of all, it's genuine. And in this industry, genuine is a, you know what, breath of fresh air and very much needed. So continue doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you for saying that. That means the world to me to hear you say that. And that's, I guess in the grand scheme of things, that's what I try to be, is genuine. Because like, if you guys have all said this before, and especially you, Robert, you can sell shit to somebody one time, but if they don't believe it after that, you're not going to make a repeat sale, and you're going to have lost their confidence and their trust in you. So I'm trying to build up people's confidence to say, like, you know what? Yeah, what he's saying, you know, maybe that's not my favorite flavor, maybe whatever, but he's not dead wrong either. And, you know, walking that line of being truthful, not kissing anybody's ass, because there's nobody's asked for me to kiss. Nobody's paying me to do any of this stuff. This is just kind of what, like you said, Lucas, what I've wanted to do so far. And for me, that's just sharing what I've used and what I've liked. And, I haven't had much shit because I think I'm smart enough to not bring that crap into my house, and I don't want to put it into my body. And I'll take a flyer on some stuff. And there have been a couple of reviews that I've done where I've taken a flyer, but I don't want to do reviews on these bathtub companies. I don't want to do reviews on these, startup pre-workouts. There are reviewers, God bless them, who are willing to do that, maybe take a chance on something that might be a little bit sketchy. I'm not. I truly, I treat my body like it's like my wife says this all the time, it's like a temple. But, I care what goes in. It's garbage in, garbage out. I don't want shit in my body like that. So, I'm careful about what I use, and I want to just try to use the good stuff. And that's why so far, like, if you really dig down deep into it, maybe you're only going to see 10 to 12 brands that I'm really reviewing on a constant basis so far. That's because those are the ones that I vetted to be good brands. And when I watch like someone like Tim Gritzman, where I watch his stories every day, they've already vetted out the shitty customers, or the shitty brands. They're going to carry the good stuff. And so I kind of like to think of that, my house is like that too, where I'm going to carry the good stuff, and, and then we're going to talk about it. But, hey, maybe sometimes we'll dig into some shit, but, for the most part, that's kind of how I've been proceeding. So thank you, Robert, for saying that. I appreciate that.
So to switch gears here, our favorite scientific reviewer, this is going to be for you, Robert. And who I'm going to bring in here? Mr. David Fredrickson is asking.
Oh, shit.
I get a lot of questions on stacking products. Do you think there will come a day when the amount of nitrates, like in beetroot or arginine nitrate, will be listed on a product?
Oof,
That's a lot
that's
to
a tough
digest.
one. Yeah, that's a tough one.
We'll get back to you, David.
Well, no. I know for it. Well, no, it's a good question. So we know that nitrates, for example, they basically belong to Ron Kramer. Arginine nitrate, beta, anything that says nitrate or NOT3, it belongs to. So that's the reason why everybody who's using beetroot or anything like that has to be very, very careful, because you can run into a lot of problems, stating certain things on a label. Nevertheless, stacking nitrates itself, like for example, I just stacked nitrates with citrulline and other things, but if you're using Ron Kramer's product, then you have to, before you even do anything, you have to submit the formula to Ron. Once you submit the formula to Ron and what you're stacking, then you have to get his approval. He's very, 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 not even methodical, but he has a strong stance about what you can and cannot stack with his nitrates and how much nitrates you can use. He's going to actually look at the formula. And there are certain things, and I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong, but that's just his way. Like, for example, he's not going to be a fan of agmatine sulfate. He's just not a fan. So whether you agree with him or disagree, that's just his stance. Or, we obviously know that there is a certain ingredient that he will never allow to stack nitrates with. That's his stance against it too. So he has, actually there are a couple. So it's a very hard question. And I don't know the answer to it. I'll be honest, because when it comes to nitrates and stacking, it will come down always to Ron Kramer and what he will allow and not allow. So what I would like to see, and this is at David, is I would like to see David to come up with the formula for pump using nitrates. I think that, and I said to David a few times, I would love to formulate a product with him, and I still stand by it. That would be very, very interesting, because David's knowledge, in my opinion, taking apart, Robert Chinevsky is obviously very, very knowledgeable. But if we take Robert aside, I think when it comes to reviews, and even among brand owners, etc., and people in the industry, David is probably arguably the most knowledgeable. As a reviewer, to me, he's number one. That goes without. For geeks like me and and like Dave, I think that David is just he is the person to listen to. He's a true reviewer in the true sense of the word. So David, I know you're listening. If you want to still formulate something, I'll be more than happy to. But nitrates, that's a top one.
Robert, let me ask you a question real quick. On the new bare knuckle, you guys have loaded up the nitrates there with 4.2. Is that about the upper limit that you guys are allowed to test with that?
So it actually goes back to Fuck Mediocre. When we were working on Fuck Mediocre beginning of 2023, I reached out to Ron and I said, Ron, would you allow me to use more than 3 grams of arginine nitrate? And at first he was very, very skeptical. And I actually asked for 5. I asked for 5 and he told me to go fuck myself. Literally, he told me to go fuck myself. And I told him, I said, well, listen, I'm doing this and I'm, using that much caffeine and it's going to balance itself, stuff like that. And then I asked for 4. And the funny thing is, Ron being Ron, he goes to me, fine, you can have 4.2. So he still had to do it his way. But bare knuckle, I wasn't sure he's going to give his okay. But I was glad when I saw that he's cool with it. And I also explained to him that we're going to do the 20 and 40 servings, which will give people, obviously, a choice. And Ron is not an easy person to deal with. But I think that if you show him the level of respect that he deserves, and he deserves considering everything that he's done and achieved, and if you talk to him and discuss it with him, I honestly actually like working with Ron. I do. So that's
Bobby, here's a question. If with Fuck Mediocre, did you put any thought into the name or did you just grab it off the shirt? Because I didn't realize that I put the shirt on today and you have it in the back of one of your shirts.
Fuck Mediocre was a shirt that was when Hooligan, it goes back to Hooligan, when Hooligan was criticized for 600 milligrams of caffeine, and it was criticized very, very heavily. And, for a very split second, I thought that maybe we should go down to 300 or 400 milligrams. And then I said, well, we're going to be a mediocre pre-workout, an average. And then I said, you know what, fuck this mediocre shit. So on a Hooligan t-shirt, we put Fuck Mediocre, and it kind of caught off. I mean, these t-shirts never available. They always fly, Fuck Mediocre. And I said, well, you know what? when the brand popularity started growing and people started giving us more respect. I mean, we still get criticism, don't get me wrong. We still get a lot of shit talking and stuff. But I'm kind of immune to it and I don't pay as much attention to it. To me, what matters is what actually people that are knowledgeable, people that are buying our products like Dave, they know what they want and they know what they make. So for me, his opinion matters. But somebody who's buying Insane Labs or something like that, that opinion does not matter to me. So if he wants to fucking criticize me and criticize the brand, I just don't give a shit anymore. So, fuck being mediocre, and, we're going to do things our way, and we were successful doing it our way. So that's where the name came out. That, I knew that the product is going to be a little bit extreme, and, that's why the name kind of made sense. I mean, the name came instantly, Fuck Mediocre. Now I just have to figure out what to do about that product because it's really popular. I mean, it was sold out instantly, and I've been getting on a daily basis. We've been getting requests bringing it back. It's just, I don't know, because, to coexist with Hooligan and Assassin, obviously it's going to be very hard because bare knuckle easily can, but that product, I don't know if you can. It seems to be more of a time cop, double impact, that type of product. So it's probably going to be popping in and out throughout in the next few years.
Okay. So we got a lot of good questions here, and thank you everybody that's watching. This is for Dave. Even though you haven't the all-American wholesome impression now, did you ever go through a phase of using more illicit or edgy supplements?
Boy, I like this.
This is a good one. So in terms of illegal stuff, SARMs, never touch any of that stuff. The diciest stuff that I ever used, and Robik, you might remember this name, a guy who used to listen a long time ago, he kind of fell off the map, Muscle and Bones. Do you remember
Yes.
him?
Yeah.
He
Young
had
kid.
he had a shitload of these tubs of Excelsior, and he sent me a couple of sample baggies of stuff like that. And I think he sent me, that was back when the original Assassin 6.5 came out with you and TJ. So he sent me, just as a buddy, a couple of sketch bags of some fun stuff to try out. But that's about the extent of all the stuff that I used. I mean, I think when I was when I was in college, we went to some supplement store, and my roommates and I bought something that was maybe a little bit, I don't know what it was now, but probably nothing great to be purchasing. But overall, no, nothing like that.
No Jack or Mesomorph or anything when the DMA
Oh, no.
was...
We had our fun days with that too. The old 1MR, the old
But
all
Excelsior
the good
is
stuff with the
definitely, I think Excelsior, that takes balls. But let me ask you this. Since you have tried it, how did you feel? What did you think? Forget about the label.
I was on cloud 9 for, I don't know, 48 hours in a row or something like that. I trained down in my basement, so it's not an exciting place to be. But I remember I was like dancing to the music that I had on in the background. I mean, I was like feeling in the zone from that. And no kidding, right? Same thing with like that Driven craze from way back in the day. Of course, because it's drugs. It's not a pre-workout, it's drugs. Of course I felt good. I was at a rave. I mean, that's...
Okay. Lucas, you awake? We got a question for you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm awake.
Okay. For Lucas, if I might ask, what is your opinion on the Perform? I don't know if that's what it is. Haven't seen more flavors anywhere else. They absolutely kill with their selection, but if those are any good, not so sure.
So it's Perform is one of the household brands of one of the main distributors in UK. I'm not gonna say which one, but you can. I'm sure Simon knows which one. They were pushing the brand for quite a bit, and they had like loads of flavors, But right now they stopped, and I think manufacturing it at all, or just like skipped some flavors and just stick to I think 5 or maybe 6 top flavors. I didn't try their protein at all. We had a discussion in my team about picking them up, but after the Brexit and so on, things got complicated. So we decided to skip this subject and just stick to the brands that are rotating well with us right now. So yeah, that's my opinion. I'm not gonna say nothing good or nothing bad about the product because I just don't know the details and never tried it before. So
okay.
That's my thing. Yeah.
Okay. And somebody sent in a question actually asking about me being the permanent host now. And I know we discussed this, Lucas, on the first episode. So yes, I am the new host here, the driver, whatever you want to call it. Robert Chinetsky had some other ventures to take care of. We discussed behind the scenes, maybe changing the name, but just like every good band, the AC/DCs, the Kisses, the Van Halens, you lose one member, you don't change the name because the other 3 members are still here. So I'm here for the long ride, and hopefully you guys will accept me as the new pilot here.
Well, listen, I mean, I have great relationship with Robert. He works with Palm. I mean, we still do the podcast, Hooligan Chronicles. It was his decision. I always believe that everybody's decision has to be respected, even if you disagree with it. It was his decision, and for whatever reason, and obviously, it's not for us to disclose or talk. If somebody wants to ask, they can reach out to him directly, and if he feels like it, he'll answer. It was his decision, and we decided to stop or take a pause or whatever you want to call it. And then when there was time that we decided that maybe we should be doing it, and people were thankfully and gratefully from us is that they've been asking for this podcast, and like Dave said, that it was one of his favorite podcasts. I think that's what matters, and as long as we're willing to talk and people are willing to listen, that's all that matters. And Sean is somebody who's been doing this for quite some time. It's not somebody that people don't know. He's very good at it. In my opinion, from a journalistic kind of point of view and perspective, I think he knows how to ask questions and how to handle it. I think he's really good at it, and I don't see any issues, and I don't think it was coming off as a criticism. I think the question was coming more as just curiosity. But yeah, Sean, basically, we can say it replaced Robert, and everybody is happy and everybody's moving on.
Perfect. You guys were starting reviews. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'll just chime in. And Sean, we were talking about this before we got on air. But as someone who enjoys this podcast very much, and as I said to you, Sean, you filling in and being the new, the driver, great selection. And from someone like me who really enjoys this podcast, it was great to see you as the one that they chose. So,
thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Lucas, Lucas, you taking credit for the one suggesting me? Is that why you're saying thank you?
Yeah, of course. It was my great idea. That's why.
You got to take your victories, right? That's right.
Hell, fucking yeah! No one's taking this one from me.
All right, guys. So you want to start reviewing some of the victims here, some of the companies that want their stuff reviewed here?
We just said that you're in charge and you're being a bitch, so just go ahead and fucking proceed.
All right, let me bring it up here. Give me 1 second.
Hey, there's a question from Joe Burrell to Robic.
Okay.
I will read that. I will read
Right,
that.
please.
After having to drop Hooligan Youngblood, would you ever release another athlete signature pre-workout, potentially with Stu?
Yeah, absolutely. Youngblood is definitely something that's going to be, I can actually disclose it now, it's going to be re-released. It's just going to have a different twist to it. But in terms of like collaborating, I said that, I think I said that on the Hooligan Chronicle, so I'll repeat it here. I love collaborations. I absolutely love them. But they have to make sense. They have to be interesting. I think that they have to be fun. If it comes to an athlete, then it has to make sense, and it has to be an athlete that definitely connects with the brand. If it's an athlete that is signed with a Palm, then yes. If it's an athlete that is passionate and brings something fresh and something unique, then absolutely yes. But collaborations themselves, they always have to be, I like surprises. I don't like when it's expected, and I don't like when it's something predictable. So when I do collaborations, for me, it has to be different. And that's the reason why, I said that our collaboration with Chef Pierre, when it came to chocolate hazelnut protein, I mean, I can't take credit for it because it was all Carolina, but I thought it was absolutely monumental, and I thought it was something that nobody has ever done. And that was absolutely spectacular and very, very unexpected and unique. And it's a huge achievement for us. And we will have another collaboration with him. And that's something I'm very proud of. So, yeah, we definitely will collaborate with another athlete. It might be Stu. I mean, there's always a possibility. And, of course, we'll announce it. But, yeah, definitely very possible.
Awesome.
Robic, let me say on that collaboration on that 50-50 protein with that chocolate hazelnut, that was brilliant. And I think I've told you that before in our chats. Yeah. That's the kind of different collaboration that I like to see, because like you said, anybody can mesh up with anybody from a business, perspective, saying, oh, I'm going to do this flavor or whatever. That was something completely out of the box. That was brilliant. And the story that you told with Justin about how Carolina just went up and talked to him about it. Awesome story. I love that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, I just have to say, if anybody has a Ninja Creamy, that's the flavor to use, the Ninja Creamy, hands down. All right, guys. So hopefully, Robic, you're on your tablet, so hopefully you'll be able to see all of this.
No, I'm able to see. The only thing I can't see, guys, and I apologize, is that the chatter and the questions. Other than that, everything is fine.
Okay. So Cage, I have a good friend there. He's one of the district managers, I believe, is his title. He was the first person that raised his hand. So I give anybody that's raising their hand for this the absolute credit. And I know, Dave, you've done some stuff for some reviews on Caged. But Lucas, can you see this? Do you want to go over it a little bit and kind of give our thoughts, go around the room here?
I'm going to zoom it up first so I can see.
Oops. I don't know if I can zoom it up.
I zoom up on my screen, so all's good.
Okay.
Let me just read the ingredients, but if you guys want to discuss, just go ahead.
Okay, so we've got maxed L-citrulline at 10,000 milligrams. We've got beta alanine as carnosine or carnosine at 3,200. We have maxed creatine monohydrate 3,000 milligrams, betaine anhydrous 2,500, creatine nitrate 2,000, and max catalyst at 4 milligrams. That's their pump performance. And then we have cellular hydration, taurine at 2,000 milligrams, coconut fruit water powder at 500, elevate ATP at 150, excuse me, and then tyrosine at 2,500, caffeine at 388, alpha GPC at 300 milligrams, Alma-T, which looks pretty interesting, at 100 milligrams, and huperzine at 1%, 10 milligrams. So I know I threw a lot at you guys for that.
The only thing that I would ditch from this entire formula is this fucking coconut fruit water powder in 500 milligrams. That's just like pixie dusting, you know. And I would like get rid of it and just bump up the taurine to up to 3 grams, and that's about it. Besides that, everything is solid in my opinion.
From my perspective, I think this is it's very refreshing to see something like that. I mean, this formula is pretty much, I would say, is great. I mean, just to nitpick, I mean, like I said, it's just nitpicking right now. The whole mixed, it just doesn't sit well with me because I think it's a little bit, it's very gimmicky, and it's unnecessary and it's also a little bit misleading because obviously citrulline can be 12, 15. At 10 probably is the limit as to how far you want to go. Beta alanine, we know that you can go to 64, even though this is a trademark ingredient and a great trademark ingredient, but 32 is not mixed. 32 is good. It's very, very good. It's clinical dose. It's within where it's supposed to be, but it's not mixed. And, that's unnecessary because you have the three ingredients you're saying mixed, and, you can just list them as ingredients and you still have a premium brand, the premium product. This is premium product. I also like to see tyrosine at about 2 to 3 grams. So I don't have a problem with what Lucas said to see it at 3 grams. But 2,500 is sufficient. It's still very, very good. I think caffeine is the good dose. I actually agree with Lucas on the coconut. The coconut fruit water, I mean, that's something that probably belongs more in hydration, I believe, and maybe intra-workout. Pre-workout, I just don't see a point. It kind of takes away from really, really a good formula. It's unnecessary.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. Even in this dosage, it doesn't do anything.
No. And alpha GPC, if this is yield 300, then by all means fine. But if it's not, I would like to see it at 600 and, at 50% yielding 300, because that's the actual dose. Especially if this is a premium product, and it is, I would like to see alpha GPC at 600 milligram, 50% yielding 300. Other than that, this formula is absolutely amazing. It's a great formula. It's a great product from a reputable company. So I have nothing. But again, I was nitpicking. The formula is fine.
Yeah, my thought on this, great formula. Now, I did some background research on this. Now, Robik, I completely get what you're saying when they say the maxed for like the citrulline and everything. That max catalyst, little ingredient they've got there at 4 milligrams, that's supposed to, I guess, increase the absorption of those 3 specific ingredients. So I don't know if that's what they're getting at when they say that,
Yeah, it's
black
not
pepper.
Yeah,
I thought
Dave, black pepper extract.
Yes, I know. Yeah, but I do like this formula. I think Cage is a great brand. I think that this is a if you look at maybe what they had in the past, this is a really, really good offering from them. I really like this.
I agree that it's definitely a step up.
Yeah,
they've done a complete turnaround since Chris sold the company, and they're just doing tremendous in retail. But here's a question for the 3 of you guys.
Wait. I don't believe Chris sold the company. I think he never owned the company.
Oh, okay.
I think he's just not involved with the company anymore.
He sold his shares.
Yeah, sold his shares. He was part of the company, more of like a face of the company.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts in general on creatine being in a pre-workout?
I think it's a preference more than anything. I have nothing against it. I have absolutely nothing against it. I can't say that I'm for it. I actually like it, but this is personal. This is no science, nothing behind it. I personally like it. I don't think it needs to be there, but I like it. The reason why I don't put it in our pre-workout is because for the same very reason. Some people just don't like it. They want to be able to control their creatine intake, and they want to use it when they want to use it, and they don't want to use it when they don't want to use it. So that's the only reason why I don't put it. But I have nothing against it. And if somebody wants to formulate with creatine, go ahead. I mean, it can obviously help.
So I can understand why they use the creatine in their formula, because not only they are using electrolytes here, but they're using a hefty dose of taurine. They're also using a good amount of one more ingredient that's skipping me right now, betaine. So it's hyperhydrating, the cells. So that's why, it gives you more power. It gives you better endurance during your training session. So I think it's good here.
So end of the day, thumbs up from all of us pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Okay. So here's a new company that's on the rise. And again, I give him credit. He's a one-person, brand new company, raised his hand and said, Sean, throw my name in the hat. So it's a company called Crystal Pump. Okay. And can you guys see his formula here? If not, I can read it off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So I'll let one of you three go ahead and kind of give a quick overview. I mean, I like the labeling. I was a big fan of Breaking Bad back in the day. So a little bit of play on the label for Breaking Bad. But everything seems to be well dosed. But again, you guys know how things play together sometimes a little bit better than I do.
Dave, what's your take?
This would probably be, I mean, this would be something that I would try out. This is, I'm familiar with this brand. I've talked to this guy a couple of times, but this is several times back. I know they had some issues with product and stuff, but I mean, overall, this is not a bad formula. Some people may not like the Araya genesis that's in there. Alpha GPC at 500 milligrams is an interesting dose. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't usually see 500 milligrams. That's kind of interesting. But, overall, I mean, I don't see anything too terribly wrong with this. Maybe not enough. I don't know. Maybe caffeine anhydrous is maybe not enough for some people on there at 152 as well. But, it's got your typical backbone stuff, which, I think people want to see. I think if people see 6 grams of citrulline, they see, 3.2 or higher beta alanine, I think they're pleased with that if that's what you're looking for in a formula.
Do you think that more and more brands are using the exact same, formula from the get-go? Let's say, 6 grams of citrulline, beta alanine, betaine. They're not like, using other ingredients. Basically, they're not getting rid of, let's say, citrulline and replacing it with Nitrosigine, let's say, or something like that. Just like revolutionizing the formulas instead of like, jumping on exactly the same bandwagon as other companies.
From a consumer's perspective, I think so. Yeah, I think that it's almost like it's been drilled in our heads that like if you don't see something like this, somebody's going to get spooked. And like I don't know that enough people know that Nitrosigine, the studies behind it, where it what it equates to in terms of like comparing it to citrulline or citrulline malate. But I do feel like you're right, Lucas. Like a lot of these products all have these same, 4 to 6 ingredients, and if they don't, then somebody might be looking elsewhere. That's something that does.
So here's my question: do you think that's a safe approach?
Yes.
So
yes.
Instead of not risking, they're just like going what's safe, what's market knows. And that's basically why they are like, using these ingredients that are like based here on this formula, instead of like, jumping on a completely different, deep water, let's say, just offering consumers completely, different ingredients or different mix of, of compounds.
So my thoughts on that is if you have one pre-workout, I think that you need to have these things here. If you're a company like a Pollen where you've got, I don't know how many you have in the catalog total, Robic, but if you've got, if you've got, 3 or 4 or 5, I think you can take the chance on a couple of those, and you can play with it a little bit. And your customer base is going to say, okay, well, maybe, if I don't like that, I can go back to the tried and true one that they do have. But I think if you've only got one, I think you've only got your one shot to sell it. And I think if you've got too much that's out of the box, I think you're just going to get lost in the shuffle and nobody's going to pay attention to it.
Yeah. This is why I ask, because it's, as Sean said, it's a small company.
Yeah.
It's a new company basically, so if they're starting with something, they don't want to risk, their funds basically, because I'm sure they put a lot of money into this, this product to be released.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right though. You got to get your foot in the ground, I think, on this, and then maybe Crystal Pump V2 takes a chance on something, but right off the bat, maybe playing it safe is the good way to go.
Okay, I'll say something. I did this formula slightly reminds me a little bit of certain things that I've done, like the beta-alanine at 3,500, agmatine, Alliance Main 1,000 milligram. I haven't seen nobody else doing it, and DMA at 750. This is exactly pretty much what I've done. Right off the bat, the alpha GPC kind of confuses me, the 500 milligram. I mean, why not go and do the 600? I mean, just do 600, not 500, 6. Number 2, I actually like the formula. I mean, congratulations to whoever it is. I actually would like to talk to him. So if you're listening to this, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you because I actually respect what you've done here. And it's pretty good. It's a little safe. I have to admit what Lucas said. It's a little safe. It's something that I can't say there is nothing innovative in here, but it's a good formula. It's a product that I would take. In terms of formulation, right off the bat, like I said, 500 milligram of alpha GPC, make it 6. Number 2, why 15 milligram of synephrine? What the fuck is it? This does not belong here. Either take it out or add to it. But 15 milligram of synephrine, 15 milligram of synephrine, that actually what makes the formula look
out a notch.
Yes. Yeah, that just doesn't sit well with me. When I saw it, I had to is it why 15? Might as well don't put it. If you making such a low dose of stimulant, don't use it, because that's, I think, Lucas's favorite word, pixie dusting. That's exactly what it is. It's completely unnecessary. So either dose it properly, like at least 100 milligram or something like that, or I don't know, at least 75, if it's 98%, but not 15. Other than that, the formula is good. My main problem is with the name. I don't get the name, because we also talking business. So if this is business, the first word that comes at me is pump. This is not a pump-driven pre-workout. It has just as much pump in this as Assassin. And nobody calls Assassin a pump product. Nobody. Because 6 grams of citrulline will give a very decent pump, but this is not going to be primarily a pump-oriented pre-workout. This is going to be a good, you have Araya Durances in here. You have a moderate amount of caffeine, but that's fine. That there is nothing wrong with it. Combined with Araya Durances and combined with Alpha Yohimbe, this is going to give a good kick in the ass. I mean, this is good. But just the pump, it almost suggests like it's a pump-driven pre-workout. And it's not a pump-driven pre-workout. It's a pre-workout that does have pump, but it's not a primary thing. So that's a little bit, to me, confusing. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys will not agree with me. But it just today, when you hear the word pump and it's a good brand, and this is a good brand, this is a good product, it's almost expected there's going to be a little bit more to it than just 6 grams of citrulline-driven product. This is a well-rounded formula. It hits everything: pump, focus, energy. I like it. I like the look. I like the name. It's catchy. I think definitely a great start. Way better than I had. Way better. Good formulation. Congratulations, and it's good. Maybe just next time
Listen,
take a little bit more risk.
if they are focusing their name on Crystal Pump, why for the God's sake they are like using the synephrine in 15 milligrams dose?
Yeah, that's the only one that
doesn't make
okay.
any
I can
sense.
overlook a lot of things, but the 15 milligram of synephrine that just doesn't sit well with me here. I apologize, but this is the only thing that just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, guys, is going to be a protein, and obviously protein is very, since we're not tasting it, we're going to kind of have to take that out of the mix, but we have to take it as face value. Over here. Okay, so this is a newer company as well. He's actually a friend of mine, not going to lie here. But his big thing is, you know, it's his first product. He's a company that came out with a protein as the very first product, which is very interesting in my mind because nobody does a protein as the first product. But again, just at face value, I mean, he's got a transparent blend down here, which is nice, 90%, 80%. So it's kind of just a quick review.
You know what? The thing is that if he's listing, let's say, whey protein isolate and whey protein concentrate, so what Robic mentioned earlier in our podcast, in our discussion, that some brands may use, let's say, you know, whey protein isolate in a higher percentage rate as concentrate, but at the same time it can be 51 to 49. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
The percentage of isolate is unknown here, so we don't know if they're, let's say, using 90% of isolate and 10% of concentrate.
No, it says at the bottom 90%.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At the bottom here, Lucas, 90%. And he's got
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
yield.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't see
That's
that.
okay. And he's got what it is and then what it's yielding.
Oh, okay. Well, in this case, scratch what I mentioned. I apologize.
It's a good formula. I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, that's congratulations again. I mean, new brand and off to a good start. Nitpick maybe diazine. I would bump it up maybe to 25 milligram, but it's really not. Also not a must. It's a good product. I mean, there is nothing wrong with it. Hopefully, it tastes good, and you know, I like actually the look. I like the container. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Sean, it's a local company or
Yeah, in Chicago. He's based out of Texas. I'm sorry, out of Texas, and
Okay.
it's based on his dogs. He's doing the whole program around his dogs. And
Beautiful.
To pick
that's
what
why-
What flavors do they have?
it's just chocolate chip cookie crunch. So the taste is almost like yours, Robic, where the base is very similar to yours, and he's got occlusions that are just very smaller. It's a good product. I've tried it myself. I can't lie.
It looks great. Congratulations.
So
Very good.
props to him for listing all the ingredients that are in cookie crumbs, because some of the brands are not listing those kinds of things. So props to him for doing that. So yeah.
Good job.
And also I'm happy to hear the story about the dogs, because when I saw the label I was a bit confused, because it's like two dogs like cheering with I don't know what, like
Protein shakes.
protein shakes or something. So I was like, that's a bit childish, but now I understand the whole gesture and so on. So yeah.
Okay. So this is another brand that reached out.
Here we go.
Hopefully you guys can see it.
Here
The
we
label's a
go.
little tight, but this is kind of very, very large. So I don't know much about them. Again, reached out to me, said, throw my name in the hat.
2/3 of the way down, Robic. What do you see there? 200 milligrams.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yay.
Yeah, the
I
Alpha
know that's your
GPC.
baby. So I looked at this formula the other day, actually, and so that to me, every time I see that, like I don't want to put my foot on the gas right away with that. If I see that, because like I want the energy. I want the energy when I take a pre. So I see that and I'm like, man, I don't know. And you know, not saying it on this one, but you know, some of these formulas where because they have, you know, dicaffeine malate in here, but where the caffeine matches the amount of theanine, it's a little bit tough sell on me. A little bit of a tough sell. But
Yeah,
otherwise,
no, I agree with what Dave said. Like, to me, you know, I mean, if you have a very strong pre-workout and it's your choice to make it a little bit less hard-hitting and you want to include theanine, I mean, by all means include it. I mean, it's up to you. It's your brand. You do whatever you want. But over here, you have 200 milligram of caffeine and 200 milligram of theanine. The question is, why? Right. I mean, that's the only. I mean, overall, you look at the formula: 8 grams of citrulline, great. Beta-alanine, 4 grams, great. Betaine, excellent. Glycer pump. I don't like glycerol in products just because it clumps, and I don't like it. Nitrosigine. This one actually I have a problem with because the typical dose is 1,500 milligram, 750 to 1,500. You went to 1,200. Just spend a little bit more and make it 1,500. It's going to look really, really nice. Typically, however, citrulline and nitrosigine together, I mean, it's unless your citrulline is like lower, like say at about 4 grams, then including nitrosigine makes sense. But citrulline here is already 8 grams, so I'm not sure. Like, I would rather see here maybe something like vasodrive on nitrates. But I mean, again, nitrosigine is a great ingredient, but I would just go all the way and do 1,500, considering the 1,200 is so close. Theanine, I'm sorry, I mean, everybody knows how I feel about it. Even the strong pre-workouts, I don't like it. Over here, I just don't think it has its place. I'm fucking blind.
So he's got Cap2 malate in here, which is a trademark. I mean, in this case, does it really pay to? Does it make a difference to pay for that type of trademark for caffeine?
Personal choice. Personal
Okay.
choice. I don't think it's needed, but I mean, it's a personal choice. Nothing wrong with it. But also, again, alpha GPC 200 and 400. I would rather see at 300 and 600 and go on a full dose. So it's very, very close. Again, it's a good formula. It's a good formula. This formula will definitely give pump. It's going to be a very good pump. This formula will give decent focus. I mean, it has neurofactor, which I'm a little bit surprised to see, because as far as I know, neurofactor is exclusive to, I believe, Ghost. Maybe I'm wrong, or somebody like that, because I know we're not allowed to use neurofactor, and I think that's the reason why everybody's using Cognatic. But doesn't matter. Neurofactor is here, a great ingredient, great dose, perfect. Theobromine, I love that ingredient. The dose, it depends on personal preference. I mean, everything is fine. It's just like theanine, alpha GPC, I'd use more. Nitrosigine, I would use a little bit more. Other than that, I think it's fine. It's good. I like the label too.
Don't you think that glycer pump can be risky here?
Oh, yeah, very. And again, I don't want to. You know what?
Because this is what hurts me here.
I know glycer pump fucked me up pretty bad.
It may clump like a fucking bitch.
Well, I know that we did glycer pump in bare knuckle version 2, and we had to return 2 or 3 or 4 pallets, something like that, because within a month it got rock hard. I mean, maybe this manufacturer knows better. Maybe this product's not going to clump. Maybe, I mean, I can't say it. I have a very strict policy, strict rule. No glycerol, whether it's NNB, Glycersize, or anyone. There is no glycerol in our product, just specifically because I learned my lesson. So I'm not going to do it. Plus, we all know that realistically, glycerol has to be at a much higher dose than 2 grams for it to be like really, really effective for pump. So I'm about to release NNB product HydroPrime, but I will release it in a capsule form. So if somebody wants to add it to a pre-workout, they'll be able to add as many capsules as they want, and they can control it themselves. But in terms of powder, I'm not touching it.
So I'll be completely honest, because I'm a big fan of glycerol, and I know one thing: if it clumps, it pumps. But at the same time, for some people, it's a pain in the ass, and they are returning the products. And I had plenty of returns just because they got a product, and after a month it got rock hard. So that's something. Yeah, so that's something that this brand needs to reconsider. I don't know if they bought a huge ton of this stuff already, but the formula looks good. And if they can change it up right now, and for example, release the formula without the glycer pump, and let's say release glycer pump as a standalone ingredient to this formula, then it will be good.
Awesome. Okay, next
The
one.
only thing that I don't understand, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, the 2 scoops, which I believe is a full serving,
2 scoops. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 32
yeah,
grams.
32 grams. But when you add up all the ingredients, I don't know if it adds up to that much. I know the flavoring also is a couple of grams, but 32, I mean, 8, 12, 8, 17. I mean, there's about 23 maybe. I know I'm too lazy to calculate the whole thing. I mean, does the flavoring weigh that much? I mean, that's the only thing that I'm not sure about, because 32 grams is a big fucking serving.
Or maybe they're using a lot of caking, anti-caking ingredients just to like
Because
battle with
okay.
the glyphosate.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
You are right, Rob. Like, if you look face value, it's about 20, give or take 23-ish. So you are right. If you just add the numbers.
Fuck me. So that's like almost 10 grams of additional things.
Yeah, so that's a little bit. I mean, again, I'm just confused, because when I saw 32 grams, I mean, I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot."
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, just maybe they should check it. I mean, maybe it's because I know flavoring adds a couple of grams, and anti-caking maybe, but still 10 grams is a lot. That's a third of the whole container.
Yep. Okay, somebody had asked to review this, and I'm sure you guys have seen this brand, Infinium, that's growing here. They just came out of nowhere, and they have 3 or 4 products in the catalog here. A host of trademarked ingredients here, but I'll let you guys digest for just a moment here. A lot to take in.
So I've used this. This is a lot of ingredients. This performs really well. The question I always have is, when you have this much stuff, how will it all come together? Is there too much overlap? Whatever. But this felt good. This one, I like this actually.
How much is this per serving?
Oh, this is 37.
37. Okay.
I can't see, it's cut off. But it's a lot.
Sean, can you move it just a bit?
I can go to another screen here. Give me 1 second. Infinium pre-workout.
36 for 2.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dave.
well, but this makes sense, I think. I mean, without calculating it, it's pretty obvious.
And our favorite ingredient is in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, it's a good formula. I mean, for me, obviously, that one ingredient, that's automatically a big no. It always will be. Other than that, it's a good profile. You can't really criticize this because it's good. It's well dosed. Everything here makes sense. I mean, it's a solid formula. There's nothing to criticize here. I'm pretty sure it performs also pretty good. The label is nice. The design is nice. It's nice. I mean, it's one of those packed formulas that actually, is well put together. So, I mean, there's nothing to criticize here, at least I don't think so.
So, Dave, since you've used it, take the caffeine out. Did you feel it was more neuro, more pump? Did you feel it laid one more towards the other?
Actually, it's very well rounded, to be perfectly honest with you, Sean. It's,
okay.
There's a lot of pump ingredients in there. I like the 508 of Vasodrive AP that's in there. I really like seeing that. But it kind of touched on everything, actually. There's enough mental focus. The caffeine isn't super high on this, but I mean, it kind of is for some users, but every box, it kind of ticked every box for me, to be honest with you.
Okay.
No, it's a solid.
Yeah. Full scoop or 2 scoop, Dave?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. There's no in between there, Sean. It's all or nothing. All or nothing.
I know, but this is still light for Lucas. Lucas would 4 scoop this.
Bro, we don't half scoop any pre-workout.
Okay.
Always full serving.
This is another one that somebody had asked that we review. I'm going to stay totally out of this because my whole thought on Rise.
No, we don't. Please.
Yes. Can you please
Please
share?
share your opinion.
Please refresh us all.
We'll share it offline here. So I think it's very. I'll just put it this way. I think it's very ballsy to say to call it the Onastella's sherbet. I mean, come on. I can respect somebody naming the product after themselves, but the other things, no.
You know what? This gives me kind of, I don't know, a feeling. It gives me a feeling for some reason. And again, I could be wrong. On the surface, I'm going to go with the previous formula with Infinites, except obviously theanine. But I'm going to go with that one. Why? Because that one kind of flows together very well. It's a well put formula. This one, it seems to me, the kitchen sink approach. It's a dick measurement competition here. It's very, very apparent that they release something that it's like, oh look, we're gonna do this in your face, motherfuckers. The formula is good. There's nothing you can say about it. It's good. Citrulline 10 grams is good. The betaine, I know I can hear Shanetsky already in my ear saying the 5 grams is completely unnecessary. So this is like, well, look, we can do it, so we'll do it. The 5 grams, I know what he would say. Beta-alanine, fine. Tyrosine, fine. Taurine, fine. Arginine nitrate, great. You have vasodrive, also great. So you already have. Then you have citicoline. I love cognizin, so 500 milligram, huge dose, good. PKTP, as far as I remember, it has to be 450 if we go like full on, but 400 is the dose. Then you have Citropeak, which I'm a little bit surprised to see here, but I won't say why. I'll say it off the air. I have no idea what Satria is doing here. I'm just clueless. I don't know why. It's like more like we can do it. Here it is. I'm pretty sure this is a limited release. Dynamine, it's a good dose. It's fine. And then Zoom XR. This is meant to be I'm not going to say it's a copycat because I'm not going to, but this kind of reminds me of approach of Triumph a little bit, but not as impressive, of course. But that reminds me of Triumph. And Triumph was also, and I said it on a previous one, it was like a dick measurement competition just because let me do something fun and cool, and I did it. It didn't mean that, oh, look, this is a pre-workout. So this is literally made to impress people, and it is impressive. It is impressive. So, I'll just leave it at that. There is nothing to criticize really here in terms of formula. It seems a little bit overdone, but on the other hand, coming from me, I should probably shut the fuck up because I've done it many times. So, it's fine.
Lucas or Dave, want to close it out? It's the last one.
Yeah, I think this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is probably their attempt at the fuck you pre-workout, right?
Yeah.
That's what this seems to be. Let's load this up. I have nothing against Rise. I have nothing. I know, Sean, you've got something on the side, but I think that's what this is. Let's just pack this baby out, limited release. Let's just go heavy on these dosages and let's just do it.
I think Rice had already like an all-out formula, right? Godzilla or something.
I like that one actually more.
Because I personally think that the emphasis that Sean brought earlier, I think this was more comparable to the Triumph that you did. But as far as this formula, it's like as you said, it's a kitchen sink. But what I like about in this formula, because I'm a fucking lover as far as the betaine and hydrous. So I can tolerate a lot of this shit, and I love this ingredient. It's probably one of my favorite ingredients. So when I stack betaine like 5 grams with 5 grams of taurine, well, I'm just blown away as far as like the pumps and the power on the training session is just crazy. So, and as a matter of fact, I had this pre-workout from Rise. So yeah, I tried it.
Lucas,
And
are they international? Are they in the international area? Rice?
No. But the thing with me is that if I like something, I'm get my hands on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Lucas, is it harder for you to get some of these American brands over to where you are? Is it just a matter of figuring out how to do it and you can get it done?
I got my smugglers.
There you go. But for the late consumer, though, but for the normal consumer over there, would it be much harder?
We have in Europe, I would say the bathtub, companies.
Yeah.
As well as the companies that don't give a fuck about the formulas and the ingredients and the legitimacy of the compounds. So yeah, but the regulations here are very strict, so you can't fuck up with the regulatory systems here. So you need to be quiet as far as like who you're dealing with and so on. But if it's just for your personal use, no one cares.
Go figure. People smuggle drugs internationally into the U.S., but we smuggle supplements out of the U.S. internationally.
Bro, we are supplying Ukraine with army, with tanks, and probably with other stuff as well.
So, guys, as we wind down, anything else we haven't touched here today? This 2 hours have just flown by here.
Yeah, it was fun.
Time is flying super fast.
Well, I see Strongman Steve chimed in there. That's the Crystal Pump guy. He said he'll get in touch with you.
No, I'd love to. I think I think he's off to a great start. And like I said, congratulations, much better start than I had.
Robert, are we dropping anything this week? Or are we on a break?
I think next week.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I think it's been a pleasure. And Dave, we appreciate you joining us today and allowing us to get you finally get to know you better.
Hold on a second. I forgot. We just dropped our target yesterday. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, by the way, thanks again for your time.
Oh, thank you guys.
Truly appreciate your friendship and everything what you've been doing for the industry and for us all, and for all your kind messages and so on. It always warms my heart when I'm getting all this fancy ass super kind messages from you, man. And keep it up, the good work. All the best to your family, your boys, and like I said, don't hold back with the reviews. Keep on going, because I'm sure you're doing a good job, and someone out there is using your opinion to his advantage. So yeah, man, keep it up, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you for those kind words. And really, guys, thank you for this. This is like, one of those supplement nerds like me dream come true type days. So I appreciate it very much. I consider the three of you guys really great friends. And I thank you for rolling the dice here and allowing me to come on today. I really appreciate it.
No, you held your own. You were good.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Dave, where can people learn about you if they haven't learned about you yet?
Yeah. So really, I'm just doing this stuff on Instagram. I know, Sean, that you talked about maybe, opening up a YouTube page. Maybe that's something else I'll start delving into here. But as of right now on Instagram, just at cook.dave10. Same thing on TikTok. I'm not really on TikTok very much. I'm just kind of throwing those same videos on there as well, but same username.
Well, perfect. Well, for everybody that's chiming in, thank you so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining the ride.
Thank you.
All right.
And Dave, stay on for just a minute.
Yeah, no problem.